These misheard lyrics, which make some gibberish, nonsensical sense, are known as Montegreens. This is basically mishearing of a phrase that gives it a very senseless, quirky meaning. We always hear the start of it like Sean the ball, but it's actually Chandrapal, the cricketer Chandrapal. So he's like a big fan of that guy. But Sean the Paul also makes sense because he's the actual artist. So
Yeah.
those
Same as my friend, the Waka Waka song. The end part of it, Samina Mina Waka Waka For that, he used to sing Char Minar mein snan karega, this time for Africa. This is from the world of pop culture. And think of what you might get when you combine all these three sounds in.
Was it? I have two guesses. Was it Darth Vader's breathing sound? One is that. Second guess
no,
is
not that.
Chewbacca's grunting sound. What remains the loudest known sound in history?
Okay. I have two guesses here. Okay, so synthesia is basically a psychological human effect that happens that makes them associate a certain word or a certain sound with colors.
Oh,
Right? So if you think of all the musicians out there, they particularly use synthesia to make their songs. Yeah, I think of this as your personal newspaper if the newspaper was filled with only the stuff you wanted to read. Deven is busy in first episode since first episode recording. Countless phones for third episode.
Yeah. So good morning, Anurag.
Already getting popular.
These paps, I tell you. All right. So welcome and good morning. This is episode 3 of Rabbittholes. So how have you been, Anurag? How do you feel recording these sessions?
Yeah, it started off as a idea, and now every week I'm looking forward to it. And the things that I've read, I don't think I would have read those things if I was just reading them on my own. So the random words are working, I would say. What about you?
Yeah, same for me. I mean, absolutely. It's like it gives me some goal, and there's definitely vested personal interest where I get to just read about random stuff and then yap about it here. But that's what we do, right? Like we love getting into random trivia and uh, get into those aha moments. Like, oh, this is connected to that. Oh, this person did that.
Yeah.
So I think looking forward to these recordings so much more.
Yeah. So let's just quickly take the intro. So for the viewers, hello and welcome to Rabbit Holes, a show with 6 questions, 2 nerds, 1 random topic, and countless rabbit holes.
Absolutely. So what happens in rabbit holes is Anurag and I will decide a random topic right in front of you guys, and that could be a random word that's generated on the internet. And we research about it for about a week. And the next episode, we get 3 questions each on that topic, and it could be anything. You can check out the episodes that cuts across categories like sports, music, movies, politics, geography, all that's there under the roof of the sun. Once the question is done, we also give some follow-up trivia on that and take you through some rabbit holes and share all the juicy trivia bits that there is to that question. So yeah, anything more you want to add, Adra?
Yeah, I think of this as your personal newspaper if the newspaper was filled with only the stuff you wanted to read.
Absolutely.
So that's how I am looking at it. But yeah, why don't you introduce the viewers to the word for today?
Yeah, sure. So as you can see in this clip, the word that we chose last time was sound, and we have some interesting questions around it. And the first 2 episodes were on dome and home, and today we have sound. So let's see what buzzing questions do we have for us ahead. Yeah, just one more point. I'm just glad that till now, across the 12 questions that we've put out in the 2 episodes, nothing is clashing exactly like topic to topic. Of course,
The
genres
answers,
and
yeah.
categories will clash, but the exact question isn't clashing, which is great. So that there is more TIL moments for you as well as for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so without further ado, why don't you kick us off with the first question of this?
All right. Okay, so welcome to Rabbit Hole Season 1, Episode 3, which is sound. Anurag, here's your first question on sound. So,
Damn. Okay.
there are two images on your left. This is not a trivia question. It's like a psychology test question, but there is, of course, a lot of trivia at the end of it. But for now, I need you to tell me which one of this shape is Booba and which one of this shape is Kiki. So if you have to assign names to these two shapes, which one would you say is a Booba and which one would you say is a Kiki? Or looks like Booba, looks like Kiki.
Okay. Do you want me to also give the reasoning as to why I'm saying that?
You can, yeah, you can.
Okay. So the one on the left, the one with the pointed edges, I think is a Kiki. And the one on the right is Boba. At least I would name it Boba. My reasoning is Kiki has a lot of sharp sounds, and the image showed on the left has a lot of sharp edges. And same with the curved edges for Boba. So that is what I'm thinking of.
You know what? You're absolutely spot on. Well, there is no right answer to this, but at least 96 plus percent of people think that the shape on the left is, the pointed shape is a Kiki and the slightly curvy shape is a Booba. And that's actually, now I will just extend this to the whole experiment and, what went into this thought experiment. So this is called a Booba Kiki effect. So it's like a non-arbitrary mental association between speech sounds and certain visual shapes. So when you say Kiki, like you've also
Nice.
explained, you think there are a lot of pointy things and a lot of sharp edges, whereas Booba is more rounded and more curvy. There is again no right answer to this. This is what a lot of people thought. So we can go on YouTube and we can see a lot of people who asked this question and they uh, came up with the same answer as yours. So this was the first. This thought experiment was first observed by Georgian psychologist Dimitri Uznadze, whose name is also very phonetically cool, Uznadze, in 1920s. And what he did was the same thing. He just drew these images and asked people to name them which is which. So basically deriving that, in our head, again, very arbitrarily, there is an association between a name and what kind of visual that sound would have. So like Kiki will have a pointy, sharp, edgy figure, whereas Booba will be more rounded. Well, a couple of more things about this is German American psychologist Wolfgang Kohler further, expanded this theory. So I'll just take you to the next image. He called this the Takete Maluma phenomenon. Now, again, if you see the left one, the left image, a lot of people associated that image with the word Takete. Again, very pointy. The K is there, the sharpness is there, right? Whereas Maluma is a more rounded, more whole word kind of thing. No sharp, pointy things in that. So people associated the right image with Maluma. So yeah, this is how we associate our random stuff in our head, random sounds in our head to shapes. So that was my first question, and you cracked it very well. This is the Kiki,
Nice.
the Booba Kiki.
Nice. That's a interesting thing to know, that words and shapes are associated with each other. And I think one rabbit hole that I went through while also framing this quiz, which was related to this, is the effect of synthesia. Did you come across that, or is it like something you want to discuss?
No, can you tell me more?
Okay, so synthesia is basically a disorder. No, you can't call it a disorder, but like a psychological human effect that happens in some humans that makes them associate a certain word or a certain sound with colors.
Okay.
Right? So if you think of all the musicians out there, they particularly use synthesia to make their songs. So if you ask somebody like a Billie Eilish how they came up with songs like Ocean Eyes, she would probably go on an interview and say, hey, I was thinking of a lot of blues, a lot of, toned down colors and relaxed vibes. And she would describe the sound as a color. And that's how she comes up with her music. And there's been a lot of different musicians throughout the ages which have really associated music with colors. So they first think of colors and that translates to sound in their head. So Pharrell Williams, I think, is one of them. I know for sure that Billie Eilish is one. So that's the effect of synthesia. And one more interesting thing about this is that it manifests as different things. Like someone would just associate the color. Others would see the shape of the letter W or the letter A as that color in the sound. So there is a different sects of synthesia that crops up, and that's very interesting to think.
Wonderful. Massive TL. I mean, again, even the Boba Kiki effect I didn't know about. So I learned how you associate sound with shapes, but absolutely did not have any clue about synthesia, where you associate sound with colors. So interesting. In fact, there is one more rabbit hole I want to take you down into. So yeah, do you know this concept of mondegreens?
The green. No, I don't have an idea.
Sure. So let me quickly give you a lowdown on this. If you can see, the famous Beatles song is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. But here on the
Yeah,
left, you can see it's heard as Lucy in Disguise
Lucy.
with Diamonds. Same image on the right. The real lyric of the song is the answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. But people often mishear it as the ants are
Right,
friends is blowing in the wind. So these
right.
misheard lyrics, which make some gibberish, nonsensical sense, are known as Montegreens. This is basically mishearing of a phrase that gives it a new meaning, a very senseless,
Hmm.
quirky meaning. This was coined by a person called Sylvia Wright in 1954. So she was listening to or rather her mom, she was remembering her mom listening to this Scottish ballad called Bonnie Earl Moray. And there was a line in that which said, laid him on the green. And her mom heard it as Lady Mondegreen. So yeah, that's how you get
So
Mondegreen.
Monday
So
green. Right.
yeah, anything that you miss here, but it makes a little sense. I think one more such Mondegreen is the famous company called Lonely Planet. I think they wanted the actual phrase that they were hearing is Lovely Planet. One is that if you remember that song Temperature by Sean the Paul.
Yeah, Econ.
So we
Sorry,
always
Sean the Paul. Yeah.
hear the start of it like Sean the Paul, but it's actually Chandra Paul, the cricketer
Yeah.
Chandra Paul. So he's like a big fan of that guy. But Sean the Paul also makes sense because he's the actual artist. So
Yeah.
uh, those stuff like this where you mishear a sound but associate it with some random meaning and it makes sense in some parallel stupid universe. It's called a Mondegreen. One random Mondegreen I have is from my college days when one friend of mine was singing Agar Kar Hai Dil Tera from the song, the Hindi song, which is Agar Kar Kare Dil Tera, but he was singing like Agar Kar Hai Dil Tera, like the baller. And one another friend, again during that timeline, in the Bollywood song Aja Aja Dil Ni Chhode, Dan and that song from the
Yeah.
Bollywood movie, he was singing Aja Aja Dil Ni Chhode. And it made sense somehow.
Yeah, it's same as my friend. The Waka Waka song, the end part of it, Samina Mina Waka Waka For that, he used to sing Char Minar mein snan karega. This time for Africa.
Yeah. So we've heard all these Montegreens throughout our childhood, but yeah, this phenomenon of mishearing a lyric but somehow makes a random sense is called a Mondegreen. Which I think we've already uncovered so many interesting things in question one itself. So lovely start. I will just stop sharing my screen and yeah, I'm excited to see your first question.
Episode 3 for Rabbit Holes today is on sound, and here is your first question of the day. So, very straightforward, very visual. Image 1 plus image 2 plus image 3 gives you what? Yeah, I'm asking a mathematical question on a sound quiz. So, yeah, just take a crack and we'll go from there.
So I have to add whatever I think this is. I have to add these three, is it?
Yes. For starters, I'll just give you this much. As we go
Okay.
along, I might elaborate.
Interesting how we have framed it. So let me give it a shot. Roar. I think last one is roar. Middle one is and first one is baby elephant. Okay. What sound does an elephant make? I have okay. Let me do elephant, alligator, tiger. Sounding somewhat similar. Okay, I'll need a hint here.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with the names as you are going on, but like it was great to see you work that stuff out. Okay, this is from the world of pop culture, and think of what you would get. Think of what you might get when you combine all these three sounds in one.
I'm thinking of the Katy Perry song Roar.
Something very iconic in the world of pop culture came into being because these three were mixed together.
Was it? Was it? Was it? I have two guesses. Was it Darth Vader's breathing sound? One is that. Second
No,
guess
no,
is
not that.
Chewbacca's grunting sounds.
You are close. Even Chewbacca's hunting sounds were kind of similar concept to this. But you're
Okay.
close, right? You just the franchise is wrong. So think of something very iconic in the world of pop culture that they had to bring a fictional or a what would you say? Not a real animal to life on screen.
King Kong or
No,
Godzilla?
not King Kong. No, not Godzilla. Getting closer, but
Oh, okay. Jurassic Park.
yes,
The dinosaurs in
this
Jurassic.
is
Oh,
this is the famous sound of the T-Rex in Jurassic Park.
Brillo.
And yeah, so one of the biggest challenges when they were making the movie is, how do you recreate the sound of something that does not exist right now on this planet, right? So obviously, it wasn't created from dinosaur fossils, and they had to take inspiration from something. So the original idea of this all thing was that dinosaurs are closely related to chickens. So what they initially tried to do is record chickens, angry chickens, to be honest, and it sounded nothing like dinosaurs. So the sound designer had to like combine all these grunts and snarls and breathing of dogs and baby elephants and alligators together to create that iconic snarl and wisp of the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. It's too iconic right now, how in the world of sound design.
Brillo. What a fun. I mean, and I had no clue dinosaurs are related to chicken in any way, but
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. Genetically, they are. Yeah.
Ah, wow. Okay. Who would have thunk? But crazy. I think, these Foley artists and all, I mean, insane creation and
Yeah.
great fun to start with.
Yeah. And just for the viewers, just to little expand on this, a Foley artist is one of the coolest jobs that exist in the world that I know. And what it basically is that, something that you see on screen is recreated using other means on the sound in the sound studio, and that is so interesting. Like if you hear somebody punching each other on screen, they're not actually punching them, or it might not even create that big of a sound. The job of the Foley artist is to recreate that sound as faithfully as possible for it to be presented on screen. It's amazing.
Super stuff. Yeah. I mean, my water glass is shaking on the table, so I think a T-Rex is nearby. Iconic scene. Cool. Wonderful start, Anurag. Great fun. Huh? Awesome first question. Cool. So here's question number 2. What remains the loudest known sound in history? So what according to you can be the loudest ever sound heard in history?
Okay, I have two guesses here actually.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm going to go with the natural phenomena first because I think I respect Earth more than humans. So is it Mount Vesuvius erupting?
You're so it's always the confusion between Vesuvius and the other one. So it's not Vesuvius, it's the other one.
Pompeii was Vesuvius, right?
Yeah, it was Vesuvius.
Which was the other volcano?
Yeah, I always get confused between the two. See that?
Etna.
Not Etna.
I don't know. I've run out of volcano names.
So this is in Indonesia, if that helps. And the explosion happened in 1883.
Krakatoa.
Wow. Brilliant. What a crack. What a crack at all.
Right.
I should
Nice.
say. Insane.
Nice.
What a crack. So yeah, this is the 1883 eruption of Krakatoa, which is near Indonesia, and the eruption happened during the months of from 20th May to 21st October for almost 4-5 months, and on 27th August, the third explosion, which happened around 10 a.m., is actually the loudest recorded sound in the history of Earth and mankind. So, and it was heard almost 3,000 kilometers away in Perth, Australia. Like crazy catastrophic event. The death toll was around 36,000. And there was this island of Sebesi, which is the nearest one to the Krakatoa volcano, and all the 3,000 inhabitants lost their lives. Unfortunately, there were no known survivors. So yeah, it's crazy. And I
Crazy.
was just reading about something more on this. So the follow up or the rabbit hole that I went into was this. Do you know which famous painting was inspired by this background of that painting was inspired by the eruption of Krakatoa?
Background of a painting. Is it like the background typically shows the volcano that's erupting? Or
Not exactly volcano, but the lava and the colors depict. There is a theory that the painter or the artist got inspired or was reminiscing his days when he was observing the Krakatoa eruption.
okay,
So the
interesting.
colors in the background. There's one theory.
Okay,
They depict this.
okay. Is it the Scream?
Fantastic. This is the Scream by Edward.
Edward Munch.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can
Nice.
see on my wall here. Like if I can just take it a little closer, and if you can see that painting there is
Nice.
Scream, and the background. Of course, these are like not the original pieces or the original form of the artwork. But yeah, that's the Scream.
Crazy.
The background of it is by Edward Monk is the allegedly it depicts the Krakatoa eruption. Yeah, Monk was from Norway and he made this in 1893, which is 10 years just after the eruption. So again, could be possibly true that he was depicting this. And in Norwegian language, it's called the skrik or the screech, like the scream. But interestingly, in German, the official German name of this painting is Der Schrei der Natur, which literally means the scream
Cream
of
of
the nature.
nature.
Yeah, exactly. So the scream
Nice.
that is being depicted is not of the person, but of the nature scream. And one more craziest, interesting fact is again a lot of integration of volcanic eruptions into pop culture is Mary Shelley, the writer of Frankenstein, was visiting Lord Byron, 15. This is way before Krakatoa. And there was an eruption of Mount Tambora. And that's when, you couldn't go out. It was the year with no summer and you had to stay in. That is when she got inspired or got or thought of writing a novel, which later turned into Frankenstein in 1818. So crazy. I think
Damn.
we owe a lot of pop culture phenomenon and stuff to these volcanic eruptions.
Yeah, that is why I said I respect nature more and took that guess first. I knew this was my second actual guess would have been the Himesh Reshmiya Cap concert.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it would be very high on decibel, but couldn't be heard in Perth, Australia.
No, but actual second guess would have been the atomic bombs. I'm sure they were pretty loud.
So cool. I think
Cool.
good question two for you, and I'm eager to see yours.
All right. Question number 2 for you is okay. So this is like a tag in from a sound based thing with an AI revolution that is currently happening in the world. So there is something known as the auditory algorithm, which is a tie in the word sound. This algorithm treats data as sound waves, and this entire process is inspired from the human ear. So it has an outer ear, middle ear, inner ear, and 3 different processing modules. What is interesting is that the research which was carried out by these German scientists, they came to this auditory algorithm by analyzing thousands of calls between analysts, managers, and stakeholders and listening to their tone, cadence, and emotions and, documenting all of that. The result of this particular algorithm was that there is a traditional approach to doing something, to predicting something, and this algorithm has outperformed this particular traditional approach by almost 9%. So my question to you is, what is the auditory algorithm used to predict?
Interesting. I had a guess, but then the second clue, which talks about analysts and managers and stakeholders. Okay, I'm going to say, is this an auditory algorithm used to predict the movement of the stock market? for the share.
And what a crack
Oh,
it is, the stock market. So basically they are
Leo.
doing analysis. Yeah, what a crack. Do you want to like work us through your working?
Yeah, I mean, I just if you can go back to the question, the my immediate thought when all these things happen is, either predicting seismic activity or earthquakes, or I had one random trivia at the back of my head, which is also about German scientists using Mozart's theme to kind of disintegrate stuff and all that jazz. But when you say analysts, managers, and stakeholders, I think that's a very good clue. So yeah, that's what led me to think stock market. Brillo Funda didn't know about this, but crazy stuff.
Yeah, this is super crazy, and obviously it is not legal or widespread enough for it to be like a thing in the world right now, but it is now coming up because of this AI revolution and stuff. And it's insane to think that just by listening to this investor calls and this IPO announcements and all the stuff, that this algorithm was able to catch the sentiments close enough for it to predict the market. And obviously the market is still volatile, but it did perform better than our traditional methods. And that was just mind blowing for me to hear. Okay.
Wonderful. And that's I think, the beauty of this format. The kind of categories we are exploring, we are going from T-Rex sounds to stock market to eruption of
Yeah,
volcanoes. I think it's just
it's
insane how
insane.
it's weaved together by this one common thread. Wonderful to see this
Yeah.
question. Nice fun.
Yeah. And one more rabbit hole that I want to take the viewers and you down for this particular thing is there, especially for Indian stock markets, there are two different approaches for predicting the stock market, which is very comical, and it just really baffles me. But it really makes sense if you think about it as an Indian, right? So the first one is called the drunkard's theory, and it literally is a mathematical model which predicts how a drunk person would walk on a straight road. And
Wow.
then they extrapolate that to the earnings and the balance sheets and stuff, and then they use it to predict the company stock. And it's not even, and the first thing you read about when you read about the drunkard's theory is that this is a predictive analysis based on uncertainty. And then they go on to describe a mathematical model. That is super weird to me.
Yeah. True.
But the second one is even weirder. As a cricket loving nations, our stock market performance has been predicted by win or loss of a cricket match.
Wow.
There is a direct correlation between Indian team's performance and the stock market performing better or worse.
Wow. Crazy. I have heard trains stopping for Sachin's 90 in Sachin's even.
Yeah, and it was very weird. And yeah, but I also found out that the Indian stock market has a kundali of its own, and there are a lot of astrologers out there, especially on YouTube, which is like predicting the stock market based on the kundalis and charts and Vedic astrology and stuff. That's
Crazy.
insane.
So if you're bullish or bearish, it will be depending on what Rahu, Ketu, and Mangal is doing in the Kundi. Crazy. Cool. But lovely funda. And let's go to the last question from my set.
Let's go.
This is like straight taken from Wikipedia. So these are some bullet pointers. Music of the spears, volcanoes, mud pots, wind, rain, surf, crickets, frogs, etc., etc. You can read along. Morse codes, tractor, bus, auto, a kiss of a mother and a child, and a tame dog. All these things, a chimpanzee, wind. These are tagged as the sounds of Earth that were chosen for what?
Yeah, this is a very interesting funda. I think I knew this fact before. This is the golden disk recording aboard the Voyager spacecraft, which we have sent to the deep space, right?
Absolutely spot on. And yeah, bang on there. Good answer. So these are the contents of the Voyager golden record. If you can see here, the laughter is of Carl Sagan. So he was the one who kind of headed this whole project, and it was also being overseen by Jimmy Carter. So basically, for the audience, this is the golden record that was sent across the two Voyagers, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. And it has a lot of interesting stuff recorded from Earth. So that if there is any interstellar activity, if this meets the aliens know about us a little bit better. So there is hello or greetings or namaste in 55 languages from the Earth. Then there are music pieces of Beethoven, Bach, Mozart. Uh, also one interesting fact that I learned yesterday only from our Instagram group is that the Voyager 1 now completes. It is so far away from us that it is one light day away from us. So you never know. The disk is out there.
Wow.
If some alien has a gramophone, it can listen to all these things. And one more interesting fact about this is there is one Indian representation also, very prominent Indian representation on the Voyager Golden Record, which is by Kesarbai Kairkar. So she recorded this song called Jaat Kaha Ho in 1950s, I guess. So that is one Hindi or Indian song that is there on the golden record of on the Voyager. So crazy stuff, and I think you just need to check out all the other contents, and it is a great project. I feel that sounds from the Earth sent into space and into the void, and you know you never know, some maybe 100 2,000 years down the line there will be some alien that makes contact with us through this. So crazy project, I guess.
Yeah, this was, and specifically the Indian connect was so surprising. Like I didn't know that fact, and yeah, that's amazing. And if I'm not wrong, tying back to the paintings stuff, isn't the Vitruvian Man also present on the Golden Voyager record, like as a true to scale human representation or something?
Yeah, could be. I mean, there are multiple such things,
This needs to be
but I'm
fact checked.
sure, yeah. But I won't be surprised if it's there by Da Vinci. And and so this was my set.
This was too good, and I think let's reminisce about it after I complete my set. So,
Sure.
question number 3 coming to you, the final question of this episode. All right. So, question number 3 is about music. Like the first thing that you think about when you think of, sound. So, in 2014, there's an American funk band called Wolfpack, which released an album called Sleepify on Spotify, which consisted of 10 tracks of something. It was basically like a social experiment to test Spotify's then algorithm, which decides the payouts and stuff. The instructions given to their fans was that they were told to play the album on loop even when they slept. And the result of this experiment was that they earned upwards of $20,000 before Spotify understood that this was an experiment and pulled the plug on this whole thing. So, what were these songs made up of? Is the question.
Firstly, I loved your PPT format this time. Love the way it's you've depicted the slides. Secondly, interesting, but I know Wolfpack, but I don't know this about Wolfpack. So yeah, let me see if I can work this one out. Sleepify. Okay. So my quirky guess will be they didn't record anything. It was literally sound of silence. There was voice.
And that is the correct answer.
Oh wow.
It was literally 33 seconds of silence per track. And yeah, this was actually a very big news even recently when Spotify decided to change its payout algorithm. Just to go into a little bit of detail about that is, back in 2014, the algorithm worked in a way where the number of playback hours would determine your payout, basically, as opposed to the actual sound being played or the actual number of fans or whatever. That has now been changed. This Wolfpack was basically one of the first people to expose the flaw in this algorithm, and that prompted a whole company to re-engineer their whole system. And of course, John Cage would be proud because his famous 433 proved that silence is never truly silent. He recorded just Like he just left a microphone out there and recorded the nature, and that was the first ever use of a silence as a song in the world. Yeah, another interesting tidbit here is, they Wolfpack used the entire money that they earned from Spotify to throw a free tour of their band. So there was no admission for this particular concert that they heard. And yeah, of course, Spotify reached out to them to say, ki, hey, whatever you did was illegal and you should not have done this. So what the lead singer of Wolfpack did was that he issued an apology on a national television. So imagine a scene where you tune into a TV and is like, um, apology from the singers of Wolfpack and stuff. And this dude has come on the screen and has literally stood silent for 30 seconds and just walked off. That
Wow.
was his apology.
Wow. Audacity. Crazy. What a
Yeah.
fun. Again, didn't know about this. And yeah, John Cage would definitely be proud of this. Sometimes, yeah, the absence of sound is what makes the sound. Crazy stuff, Anurag.
Yeah.
Wonderful question.
Yeah.
So it was basically,
brilliant set.
yeah, not sheep, but sleep in the wolf skin, I can say. Okay, sorry.
I have to make puns on a sound episode, of course.
Yes, but lovely, lovely episode and thoroughly enjoyed making questions, attempting questions, and yet another recording. So this brings us to the end of episode 3. Your thoughts?
No, I learned so much today, and there were so many different avenues that my mind could have gone into when thinking about sound, right? And it just shows how differently we think when given a particular word, right? Like my first thought was going into technology and all those, music and stuff like that. Your first thought was going into art and history and stuff. It's just too good to think of. And again, I am super happy that none of our questions clashed.
Exactly. I don't know now. We'll see when that happens, and it's gonna be crazy. But till then, I think we are learning a lot of each other, and I think so much value that we bring to the table with these prompts. And again, I mean, I have at least rejected 2, 3 more fun day, and just reading about them gives us such a nice chance to explore those interesting rabbit holes.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there something you would want to tell the audience before the next episode or the next word is chosen?
Yeah, I mean, I feel do let us know in the comment section what you feel if you were given these prompts, like if you were given sound or dome or home, what interesting stuff can you share with us, which we didn't cover in this episode or we didn't talk about. That would be really nice to see. And one more thing is, if you have any suggestions of any random word, do send us. Let's see if we can directly take from audience if they can give us some interesting prompts.
Absolutely. And yeah, if your comment and if you have a very interesting thing to say about these 3 words that we have covered till now, leave a comment. And in the next episode, we will do like an audience segment where we will read that all out. And
Absolutely,
we can go
we
from
should.
there.
Yes. All right, that brings us to the end of episode 3 of season 1 of Rabbittholes. See you soon. Till then, stay curious.
Yes, but you forgot the most important thing. For episode 4, we need to choose a word.
We need to choose a word. Yeah, let's do that.
Yes. I am going to bring up our usual trusty random word generator.
Yeah,
I think
it's
my screen.
It's been throwing us good.
Yeah, it's been working so far. I wish the site had a little more pizzazz, but that's fine.
It's basic, but it's fine.
We make up for it. Okay, so random word generator. All right. So 6 words, all filter by syllables, and 1, 2, 3.
What is this? Oh my god. I don't know what to choose.
I mean, the first ever thing that pops up very distinctly is dragon, for sure. There's so much we can do in dragon.
We can do dragon. I'm not sure how much you can do on barrel.
Protection
I
also,
feel
I can see.
Yeah, some potential. Maybe dragon or do you feel dragon will have a lot many avenues to explore?
Yeah,
Like
I think dragon will have I do feel that dragon might cut across
aside
more
of the usual
categories.
suspects.
Yeah, of course. So see, till now, what I'm thinking is till now in our sets, we have very little mythology elements, first of all. So this might be like our into mythology or,
Could be.
there are historical stuff, there is technology stuff that I can think of when I think of dragon and, biology and stuff like that. I think we
Okay.
could go with dragon for a
Or should
wider
we
set.
do another set of random words? I don't know. If
Yeah, like I'm okay with a reroll also
yeah,
because
let's do
only
one
one word
reroll.
is sticking out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, for the first time ever, is a reroll on rabbit holes. So new set of 6 words is
This. Okay.
no.
Okay. Damn.
This is a problem.
This is
Why don't we just pick problem and all the quiz questions are
yeah,
basically problems to
basically
solve, so
problem.
we can do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Or any any food item, for example, which is made always has its roots. Like one king was there, he had a problem that there was no food and there was scarcity of food. So they mixed a lot of things and made that. So like avial has that, and so those kind of stuff we can do. But yeah, I think we can go with problem. That's an interesting like prompt.
It could be interesting.
What can we do? Because it will basically problem will also lead us to a lot of interesting inventions and solves that people have uh, done. So that they solve that problem. So it can be across so many categories.
I don't mind going for problem. That might test
Cool.
us a bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the problem is the answer.
Yeah. So the word for episode 4 is problem. And that brings us truly to the end of the 3rd episode of Rabbit Holes. And yeah, see you next time.
See you next time. Stay tuned and stay cute. Bye bye.